Who needs a smoke machine when you've got a bloody fat gar?
Fat gar? It is a rather fat gar. Who needs a smoke machine when you've got a bloody fat gar?
When you have a bloodied, fattened gar.
Yeah, I won't argue with that. Yeah.
Well, bro,
Yeah.
how you doing?
I'm alright.
How you doing on this Friday?
It is a Friday.
Sun came
It's
out.
a strange day.
Got some Vit D.
Yeah.
Pumping through my... wherever Vit D goes.
Where does Vit D go? Vit D to the tummy?
I'm sure a scientist Jarling will fill us in. But otherwise, good afternoon, morning, evening, or night, ladies and gents, and welcome to... yeah, I'm just going to call this BroCast number 2.
Yeah, we had some people correcting us that this isn't...
Yeah, I was going to reference a couple of those in housekeeping, but you're right. People were like, you've done BroCast before, it's not number 1. It's actually more like 4 or 5 or higher, potentially.
Yeah,
but
more or less.
You want us to keep this encyclopedic knowledge just there?
It's
No.
too much. It's
I can't
too
do that.
much.
I can't do that at all. So for now, this is BroCast 2. You know the deal. You know the jam. I want to shout out those patrons over the Jar Media Patreon. They make the audio version of the show possible, of course. And if you're a DB tier or above, get your names, your crazy names, your wacky names, your sometimes a little bit not safe for work names.
Yeah, or not safe for ethics.
Not safe for ethics. Like attached to the end of this episode. Get in there. You'll get in for... what month comes after April? A little bit of May.
Yeah,
You could be a maybe.
maybe.
Nice. So as I said, let's do some housekeeping then. Because we're behind. Last
Yeah.
episode we were selfish. Took the whole episode up for a naughty, bloody Vegas
Our
story.
trip, yeah. Which I want to touch on from what I've read of the comments. People were like, "Oh, I love this.
Bit of a tonal shift.
Yeah, I love it when this happens."
Uh-huh.
You know?
So we're getting mixed messages.
Yeah, so what do you want? Do you want us to
So
become like
is it-
travel vloggers?
Yeah.
What do you
That's
want?
fine.
Yeah.
Like, is it something to do with it's less interesting when only one of the 3 has gone somewhere, and it's more interesting when you both have gone somewhere?
Maybe.
Maybe you have more to say or something. Yeah, but on that same note, Royd656 says, I legit don't understand why people don't like trip episodes. They are far and away the most interesting episodes / stories to me. And when someone replied to that, making a joke at the term trip episode, every episode is a trip episode. James is on Adderall, Alex is on LSD, and Jim has been smoking weed. I always find it funny, the like things we get assigned, and just how incredibly wrong they are.
Although that one is probably like...
That's not too bad, I've seen worse.
Yeah, that's... I feel like James and Adderall could go hand in hand.
I don't know if he needs it. It's like meth, isn't it?
True. Yeah, I mean, does anyone need
I don't think
Adderall?
we have Adderall here. I don't think it's legal in the UK.
We haven't
We got different types of meth
we
for
haven't got
ADHD.
the like science ability yet in Civ.
True.
We need to unlock Adderall.
Clara Bellum, on a similar note, says, don't listen to the haters. Please continue putting out travel episodes because I'm living vicariously through them. I'd love to, personally. Any excuse to travel more.
Yeah.
Every time I go somewhere, I feel like I get the bug, but then real life gets in the way. Kajol says, this jar set is like the ugly duckling of the jar sets. Like when it was first unveiled, with the boys sat at that table. It genuinely hurt to look at, but now with the LED lights, the candles, and all the props, it's become my favorite. That's what it's always been, man. It's about evolution.
Yeah.
It was just a new form. And of course, you are in your awkward, ugly duckling stage, you know?
You're figuring stuff out.
Haven't gone through puberty yet. You don't know what you're doing, you know? Look at us now, baby.
Yeah, look at us. I feel like
Don't get
time
used
of
to it. It's
day.
going to be different pretty soon.
I feel like time of day has a big effect on how the cast looks.
Yeah, you either get the what is that, like heaven? For those listening, I'm pointing to the window that's in the background that gives us some natural light. We often record in the evening, but every now and again we have the chance to do it during the day, like today.
Yeah, and for those who don't have daylight savings, or it happens at a different time in the year or whatever, the clocks change, so it gets darker later.
Yeah.
So then we're probably going to get more.
That's not to say we don't get some nice colours when the sun sets.
Yeah,
when
I
it's
think
timed. You get the nice pink. I've been hogging this.
Thank you. I think when the sun sets, you're right. It looks very pretty, but my strategy when reading comments is like I obviously don't watch the video because
you're in it.
In it, I remember like 12% of what we talked about, you know.
Yeah.
So I just like go down the comments and stuff on a Monday usually. See those immediate reactions, but after reading that one, I looked at it and like I went back up to the video, looked at it and thought, wow, like I don't think there was much intentionality from us. Like we weren't like, let's make this one look fire.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it did.
That's how it works,
like,
though. Yeah,
it came out.
That was a good one. It was like the right color contrast. Got some color theory in there. Yeah. There's still more to be done. There's always more to be done. It's never complete. Interesting one here from JH-VB3MP. Notes from an American. Mount Rushmore is a garbage tourist trap. Stonehenge is far more famous. Those folks you talk to were just uneducated. And about Chick-fil-A. They are known for their customer service. I used to work there and they took it extremely seriously. For example, we had to say, my pleasure, instead of, you're welcome. It's all part of their clean-cut Christian branding. Most fast food places outside of tourist areas will treat you like shit in the US, but Chick-fil-A will always go the extra mile to humbly serve you in the name of Truett Cathy, aka Chicken Jesus. I think that's the old CEO or whatever.
Chicken Jesus.
Of Chick-fil-A. And Sam Will said, Mount Rushmore, built less than 100 years ago. Stonehenge, built 5,124 years ago. Yeah, that's kind of a good way of putting it.
Yeah. I guess I feel like more Americans would know Mount Rushmore.
Oh.
Like the world will know of Stonehenge more, but Americans...
there's obviously going to be a bias there to your thing.
Yeah. It's pretty iconic, right? It was in like Team America. All the vehicles like fly out of it.
But then, like, I feel like Stonehenge is referenced just as much in like pop culture and I don't know. It's kind of, to me, it's almost like not knowing what the pyramids are, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Stonehenge is less impressive than the pyramids.
Way less impressive, but the age and the history is cool. It's just like, what were they doing? Yeah. I personally prefer Avebury. Yeah. Avebury's like the cool Stonehenge. Yeah.
And they're pretty close to each other, so if you're going to see one,
you might see a bit to the other. The Gayest Jar fan says, Howdy Mingers. As a red-blooded American who's almost 30, I can definitely say that the gun brain rot is real here. I remember when my school first installed metal detectors in the mid-aughts and started doing regular gun safety drills in addition to the usual fire drills. The paranoia every time in a large crowd has made going to events harder. My local mall shut down after a handful of minor shootings. The fact that there are minor shootings is telling enough. It's a very stressful place to live, especially for a racial minority, so yeah, no question, just wanted to say that. Bear and game on.
I'm glad this has come up because I just watched a video that I think everyone should watch who feels any way about this topic, like for or against.
Yeah.
By one of my favorite YouTube channels, Horses.
Yeah, still gotta check them out.
Yeah, he's done a video about
He did the salting video, right? Like adding salt to things.
Yeah,
cook or something.
Yeah, because that video was kind of about
like seasoning.
It was about like white people having boring food, and he kind of goes through it because he used to be a chef.
Yeah.
But yeah, this video on guns, he goes through like the history of like the national identity being tied to guns, and like the love of guns is like cultural.
Yeah.
And
that's why it was such a culture shock, I guess, for us to have these conversations.
Yeah.
Oh, that is something we probably have on our minds while we're here.
But yeah,
Don't cut.
it was quite depressing to go down into the comments, because like he's
really?
he's
People
basically
get quite
just
upset, yeah.
he's going through like history, and the amount of people like calling it biased and stuff, and like he may feel like the channel horses, like he might lean one way or the other, but I think from the information in that video, like to disagree with it is to disagree with reality, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big part of like NRA gun lovers.
And some people treat amendments like they're almost like a religious doctrine.
Yeah. I guess that's why they call it conservative, right? 'Cause they're conserving those
The status quo
ideals. But like in this video, it goes into how like the Second Amendment, there's differing opinions on like historians,
the way it's interpreted.
on how it's interpreted and what they actually meant, like what the amendment.
Yeah, 'cause it's like if the founding fathers were creating it now with the context of now, would it look exactly the same? I don't know. Like weaponry was very different when they wrote it.
But also language was different. So what they wrote down could mean something else to how we read it today.
Yeah.
And like that, he goes into it far better than I can. But
it's quite a poetic way to phrase it. Bare arms, you know. It's quite open, I guess. Like what do you consider an arm? What do you consider a bear?
Yeah.
Well, bro, as I said, we're behind. If you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. Just going in.
Let's just go in.
Let's go through these questions, yeah. So we got a few. Let's just go for it till the mid-break and come back. Right. Rip Fluid's going to get us going. I'm surprised it's taken this long for somebody to do this, but it's been done. Bear Besties, I've come across a website called ytks.app that allows you to scan entire YouTube channels for keywords and phrases, providing you with a time-stamped clip of the words being said. The only caveat being that it only scans the 297 most recent videos, meaning it scans from JARCast 138 onwards. Using this website, I've compiled a list of topics often brought up, aka a comprehensive list of how much shit you actually talk. So,
oh my god.
Yeah. It's broken up into two categories, names and topics, right? So, Jim's name has been said a total of 2,296 times. Jim has been said 1,299 mentions, and Jamie has 584 mentions. Alex has been said 2,342 times. So, just under 100 less. It's actually very close. It's like 50 actually between us. But then what's your guess for James?
I'm going to say like 5,000.
That's a really good guess. It was 4,480 times James has been said, just completely dominating us with the name mention.
I can believe that.
And that's because, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm the main Alex, and I don't feel like you're necessarily the main Jamie, but James is the main James. There's never been a more James than James.
Yeah, because when I meet someone else called James, it's like, you ain't like fitting the bill, man.
Exactly.
Whereas I've met other Jamies. Thing is, a bunch of people call me James.
Yeah, because they're a common.
Yeah, it's
Jim and James. Or
a
lot of Jameses are Jims.
And it feels so wrong to me, because like,
that's James.
Yeah, those two letters that are different make a big
creates a different packaging.
Yeah, you're right. James is the most James. More James than James Bond.
So this I found interesting, right? On the topics, Skyrim has been said 172 times.
Okay.
Marvel has a total of 323 mentions, with the caveat, if that didn't include the first 130, I'd double that.
Yeah. Man, what?
especially
Why did we
early.
even talk about it so much?
Because that was peak Marvel.
Yeah, I guess. But it's not like we were ever like really into it.
It was just like the zeitgeist. Like, I don't know. Just everyone was like hyped up until Endgame, and then it was just kind of like, yeah, whatever. We've seen it. MCU has been said 32 times. Marvel has been said 291. Fallout has a total of 525 mentions. Wow. Fallout has been said 313 times. New Vegas, not including the most recent cast, has been said 212 times. New Vegas includes Fallout New Vegas, so the results are skewed. That's crazy. But I guess it does come up a lot. I've never even finished a Fallout game. I actually watched the first episode of the show in the bath last night.
Oh, really? Do you want to touch on that?
It's like an hour and 15 minutes long.
Yeah. Initial emotions?
I might not be the right person to talk about this because I really am not a Fallout guy, right? But to me, the fact I don't have to play it is a huge plus. So I've always found the world and the aesthetic cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I enjoyed that first episode, I'm going to be real. Plotting was pretty good. I quite liked the characters. The production design was pretty good. My biggest hang-up was like everything. I was liking like the way the vault looked and all the kind of stuff from the games you'd recognize. And they start getting to the power armor stuff. I'm just like,
does it look a bit CG?
It's more like it's on that like line of like very cosplay like. And this is just me and the way I view the like Fallout world. Like to me, I know there's the whole Brotherhood of Steel, and I don't know all that complexity. But Fallout would be cooler to me without the mech suits in it. I think everything else is cool. That's not the hook to me. I know that's like such a big deal to everybody. But that was the only thing where I'm like, I'm not feeling it with this mech shit. That's like that's a common complaint I have because I'm not the biggest like mech guy.
Yeah. See, my feeling on that specifically was that wasn't really a thing until Fallout 4.
Like the obsession with the mech thing.
Well, they weren't like mechs before. Like in New Vegas and all the ones before it, they were just like the best bits of armor you could put on. It wasn't like a thing you climbed into. It was just
I much prefer that as like an aesthetic. Like they just have a shoulder or something.
Yeah.
Or they're just wearing a helmet maybe. Or...
Yeah. So
I'll see how it goes. It's already one of those like people are just lumping it in with like the Lord of the Rings show and stuff like that, but it doesn't seem like that level because Walton Goggins, he's a cowboy.
Yeah, I'm in.
I think from the opening scene with him and the ending scene with him in that first episode, I'm kind of like, I'm here for Goggins. Like this is sick. Like what they're doing with him.
Yeah,
his whole costume, his swagger. He's like a ghoul.
Yeah. He's like way undercredited for how good he is. I've loved him since The Shield, where he's like one of the most awesome complex characters in that show. I think he was the best thing from that show. Like his whole story. That was why I was watching it.
He was like, he was like a tragic character. Him and Michael Chiklis are like just in that show. The main guy, the Thing from Fantastic Four. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, awesome show. Check out The Shield if you haven't seen that. If you're not in after that first episode, I don't know what's wrong with you. But going back to the keywords.
We digress.
Star Wars has been said 497 times, so Fallout has literally been mentioned more than Star Wars, which is crazy.
That is ridiculous. Because, like, we are, or have been up until the sad years, like, Star Wars fucking nuts. Like, if anything was going to come up the most. Yeah, it was everything. And for Star Wars to be below Fallout, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's not right.
Below, like, Skyrim, I guess.
A real, like, Bethesda thing, even though they're really not, like, my studio. Like,
yeah, they're not my bread and butter.
But this one just takes the cake there. Halo. It's been said 1,113 times, so it just decimates all of them. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. We can
fine
officially
with that.
call ourselves a Halo podcast when we feel like it.
Because it was, I put like Halo in that space with Star Wars, like with the like growing up and the.
Yeah.
There was something like my first introduction to Halo was in like that after school thing like that we went to. There was someone in the year below me who was like obsessed with Halo, and he was like telling me about it and making it sound like this mind-blowing like thing.
Yeah,
like, that was like the reputation of it. It had this like, I have to know what that thing is that he's talking about.
Yeah, the word of mouth power that stuff had. Like, so I heard about it first in primary school.
Yeah, same.
And Matt and James both loved Halo, but I'd only hear about it through what they'd say. And like when it came to playing it, it was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
This shit's changed my world.
So I played Halo 1 and 2 at a friend's house.
Yeah.
And loved it. But then 3 just changed everything. Yeah. So yeah, that's not that surprising, but the keywords. Fart has been said 355 times. So less than Halo. Shit has been said 422 times. This is interesting. Piss has been said 849 times.
Wow. Piss
So
more than
we're
piss.
pissing on shit right now.
Piss more than shit. Yeah, piss is pissing all over shit.
But
Wow.
this one takes the cake though. Poo has been said 1,144
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Like 30 less than Halo. 30 more than Halo, sorry.
30 more.
So we officially care about poo more than
Poo
Halo.
and Halo podcast.
There's still more though, bro. Honorable mention words. Normal has been said 1,278 times. So that's more than Halo, that's more than poo.
How?
And man, we got some like new additions that are catching up quick. Goon.
Ooh.
613 mentions.
Wow.
This includes Gooner and Gooning.
In a relatively short space of
In
time.
a very short space of time.
Gooning's coming up.
Yeah. The
Shout out
Rock.
Gooning.
216 mentions.
The Rock.
The Rock. Reynolds has 156 mentions. And finally, Dopamine hasn't been said in 10 episodes. Obviously that ruins it, but that's pretty good. That's like multiple months of no dopamine being thrown out there.
It hasn't been said in 10 episodes.
At the time of that comment, yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty good. Any thoughts on that, my bro? That's funny you can do that, no?
Yeah, that's awesome. It's kind of surprising in some places, but in others,
Surprising but not, yeah.
yeah, it just
Yeah, it's a shame it can't include that first 130, but
I feel like that could throw everything
that would
off,
change some things, I feel like, but
Yeah, Pooh would probably skyrocket again, as well as Halo and Marvel.
yeah. Agreed.
I don't think it would really affect Fallout too
No,
much.
I feel like that's a more kind of recent obsession that we just won't leave. We'll come back with some more questions after these messages. Yeah. Life can be a dick sometimes, so get your dick from out your hand. And don't be a dick, wear a dick. Dick the Head t-shirts available now. Check the description below. Yeah. Right, my bro. Welcome to the second half of the cast where we continue answering questions. We don't normally do this for the whole thing,
We normally start here.
but we're in a deficit right now, and we need to catch up.
Yeah, like the UK economy.
Oof, don't get me started, bro. Don't even get me started.
Ask us questions on r/jar media about the British economy.
Yeah, keep it like really specific to the UK to isolate every other audience member that isn't in the UK. Buy Me Moo Marmite can get the second half going here. 2016 Jarling here, which means in a couple of years I would have been listening for 10 years. A lot of older content creators I used to watch have had children, started families, etc., and taken a step back from content creation. It got me thinking, with how consistent you've been all this time, what major life events do you think would lead you guys to taking a step back or even stopping the cast? All the best. Thank you for all the great stuff over the years. It's always helped me whenever needed cheering up. You are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's an interesting one because my philosophy with Jar is that the longer it's been going, the more value it has, kind of. The more it's kind of documented of our lives, the more reference points there are, and the more change an audience member can see in a cast member, which has some value to me. But as far as what it would take to step back, that's a tough one, because I don't know if it's corny or what, but like doing this once a week is like this consistent, like,
yeah,
no matter,
it's kind of been the one thing in my life that I've actually stuck with for like a long
it's like
time.
an absurdly long amount of time.
Yeah.
We've said it again and again. There's no obligation. It's all about just like.
Yeah, my feelings is like the reason I do this every week is because I like it. Like it's as simple as that. Like,
yeah.
It's
also an excuse to see you every week.
Yeah, and it's fun. And like, because there have been conversations over the years about like turning it into something else and like making it more of like a career, quote unquote. But I think what it would inherently change what it is, the idea,
because it would be
what
more
started
like
it.
Chasing something instead of just letting it be what it is.
And I like, because the way I look at it, after we did that Nostalgia Critic video, if we'd have started like honing in on stuff like that and chasing those things, like we could have.
Oh yeah, I still think that would be possible to do.
Well, yeah,
if that was something we actually really wanted to do.
Yeah, but my thinking for now is like I want to be able to do this, but I want it to be free. You know, I don't want to feel pressured by algorithms and like.
Yeah,
I feel like through knowing you, and I've watched a lot of YouTube over the years, and every like content creator has talked about like the
burnout, the machine,
the burnout, like
the farming. It almost becomes like farming.
Yeah, it's crushing your soul, and it like pops up, and it's like, this video did really badly, even though it was like you did a different thing because you were really passionate about this thing. Yeah, but fuck you for trying to do something else because you got to fit into the correct thing. Yeah, you gotta milk the moolah. And I don't really want it to just be work. Yeah, you don't want it to feel like work. The only thing I would like, I guess, is, and I've had lots of people message me since we kind of backed off doing more like As They Says and like media talk and whatnot. I'd like a bit more of that. Yeah, me too. But it's often just like a time, like just lining up thing. Like it's a big investment if like you're talking about a game like Red Dead, a show like Invincible or something like that requires everyone to be on the same page. And we're often all just doing our own thing. Well, yeah, and like I work like 50 to 55-hour weeks. So exactly. Like to take the time out to do this is like this is like the enjoyment time. This is chill time. It's like I feel like it's a good level. But yeah, I agree. I'd love to be able to do more stuff. The audio listener base has also been getting bigger and bigger over the years. It's almost more becoming about the audio version in some ways. I don't know if I don't actually know the pure reasoning for that. I'd be curious if people have something, because a lot of people like watching us. Yeah, and seeing I think that. in the earlier days we were doing more like gimmicky, funnier, like and we still do that now and again. They tend to be less wild. I guess that's like part of the evolution. Like, it's just growing up, you know. But and we've done a lot of the gimmicks as well. Like, we gotta get more creative, I guess. Yeah, we need to actually like get some furniture on the ceiling and strap in, to actually be upside down.
Yeah.
That's one of the that's one of my favorite gimmicks of all time. But
one thing I would say about, like, I mentioned it before in the cast, I think, about content creators when they have kids, the fine line of making that like part of your branding, part of your content, that makes me feel really weird. I think I would lean more towards, like, if I had a child, just never mentioning it. I know YouTubers that have children that have kept it a secret, and have told me that, and for that exact same reason, where it's just like, they never asked for this. They don't need any of this. I think if you're posting pictures with your baby and stuff, you should be blowing out that face. You know, I really think like child actors and that kind of thing is too far, is too weird. It's like the next level of that, you know, the next level of like invasive. If you grew up in, like, do you remember that channel, like, it was called like Father of Five or something, and he turned out to be like a real asshole, and it changed the whole landscape of the way you can monetize videos with kids in, for the better, really, because something needed to be done about that, because it was abuse. Little kids should not be involved in content creation. It's like, what's that? You know, that little boy he's like so big on YouTube. You see like toys of his in like the supermarket. You see his face on things, and he's got this smile. And he must be like 6 or 7, but he looks like glazed. He looks like fucking dead. Yeah. And there's something so wrong about that, because it's like, that kid better be you better be putting that fucking money in a bank account for him when he turns 18. You better be giving that shit to him. Because he's going to resent you forever. He's a little boy.
Even then, though, he's like,
it's not right.
Your childhood on camera, like,
I can't stop thinking about Jake Lloyd, man, because they completely changed the trajectory of his life being in Phantom Menace. It ruined his life. Like, straight up ruined his life. And that was just like allowed to happen, and that's like one of countless examples of kids being abused in Hollywood. I think that's very unfortunate. Miniature Rani says this: with the mention of Derek Savage in the last cast, I'm curious, what's Alex's view of that whole situation so many years later? I mentioned I talked to someone who was tangentially related to Derek. I had a few chats with them. And what I said at one point was, it feels like a lifetime, an eternity ago that happened.
It really does, yeah.
And I feel like a completely different person to whoever I was whenever that happened. So it's sad to me to then look at what Derek's doing now, and it's just completely static. I see no change. In fact, he's probably gotten worse as far as the weird, like, being creepy on Twitter, like reusing old films and like trying to release them as like new things, and it's just sad. It's like, quite a long time. It's nearly 10 years.
It's got to be right.
And he's old, man. He's like 60 something. It's like, man, could have had a good thing.
Do you think there's a point when you get old where it's like the time for change is done? You just lock in.
I think I refuse to believe that has to be the case, but I feel like a lot of complacent people just like decide. It's too much effort, it's too much energy to like reassess my beliefs or whatever I've been doing for so many decades. It's easier just to continue doing what I'm doing instead of reassess some things. Because I feel like that whole progress is like compounded with the internet and like the way people communicate on there and the things you see. Like I was saying earlier in the kitchen, like I don't even know what like memes are anymore. Like if they are references to things, if they're just...
The pace of everything seems to have increased. Which didn't like start with the internet.
I don't think so. I feel like it has like...
I think what I mean is like it wasn't like the internet became a thing and then immediately like it accelerated to that point. It's been like a gradual increase of speed.
But I feel like
an acceleration.
It's like it's changed the dynamics of everything. The joke is like, in the 60s, a guy who wants to fuck a toaster. It's just a guy who wants to fuck a toaster, but now he can find a community of people who want to fuck toasters and go from there, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's just wasn't an option before.
Yeah. And the ability for that group to have like an enemy group as well. Like,
how did I even get there from Derek Savage? I guess his Twitter usage.
His lack of changing.
The static nature, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, just kind of a sadness, and the more details I've learned about him as like an individual and his like relationships with people, it's just like, oh, it's just kind of really sad. Dibby Collector says this question for the gym goers of Jar. Hypothetical, by the way. What would you do if you see someone come into the gym, do one set of 10 dips, and then leave again? He comes in every other day. He doesn't increase external weight over time. Same exercise every other day.
I mean,
what's a dip?
Like when you lift your body weight.
Oh, okay. I do these things, but I don't even know. Like, I watch
Right.
videos of like tutorials, and they're like specifying all these like specific muscles and like things, and like just show me the picture.
It depends on what that person's goal is, and like their age and whatever.
Yeah, my gut is to just be like, who cares? Like,
well, yeah, because that's a really like cancerous thing all over gym related social media, where it's like someone filming someone else in the gym.
Yeah,
like,
I've
what the
seen a
fuck
few
is
of
this
those.
person do? The thing is, like,
I hate gym content like that.
yeah,
The
it's
engagement-based
just
gym
horrible,
content.
and like
Yeah,
it's some
yeah.
jacked fucking guy, like this fucking idiot, and then like all the different fitness YouTubers like have beef with each other.
Really?
They all have like different advice, and they're all jacked as fuck.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Or a big engagement bait one I've seen on Twitter is like girls in like really tight gym clothing, like setting up and being like, look who looks at me.
yeah.
It's just like such obvious engagement bait.
Yeah.
Like,
It's for the views, everybody. It's for the
I
views.
feel like that stuff's like worse than ever. You know?
Yeah.
Like it peaked with the like prank stuff on YouTube, but like, I don't know, everyone as a community just like turned on it and was like, this sucks, like stop.
Yeah.
But it's like everything now.
Everything's
I'm going up
pranks.
to this homeless guy and I'm going to give him 10 grand.
Yeah.
And then you find
Oh,
out
they're-
afterwards, it's
they're
like,
the
I
worst.
actually gave him 100 quid.
Yeah. Gave him a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought him at McDonald's.
It depends what this guy's trying to do.
Yeah, like who cares?
But like if he's just trying to maintain like that fitness, and I mean 10 dips, I feel like it's probably not crazy to say the majority of people can't do 10. So he's obviously got to that point.
Maybe he just likes the level he's at.
Yeah, I think he's wasting his money if he's paying for a gym membership to every other day do 10
Yeah, you could just do
dips
that in
and
like
leave.
his house.
Yeah,
have a bench
just get
or
like a bar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's not gonna get like stronger doing that.
See, I've never actually been to the gym. I have the luxury of having a gym set up in my garage. I've never actually been to the gym. The only time I've had a membership was just for the swimming pool, which I'd use multiple times a week.
Yeah,
but I never actually used the gym. So I don't know. I don't want people looking at me. I don't want to show myself.
It's kind of good for the opposite in that like a lot of exercises that I wasn't confident on, because I started going to the gym when I was like 15.
Yeah.
And there was this one guy, like my story is that I started doing push-ups at like I think I was 13 or 14.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be stronger. And
I
like
wish I'd started like then.
it
Just never even
worked
crossed
to
my
a
mind.
point, but there was someone in my year who was like,
Yeah, I remember. It
I'm
was, like, jacked.
gonna become a unit. I'm gonna become like
What was he eating? Like how that?
He must have been eating crazy protein. Like whatever. I'm sure part of it is genetics as well. Like
True, that does help.
He's naturally tall and broad.
But we are gifted with that as well, though. That's like the only reason I've like started exercising since doing the 23andMe thing or whatever. Because I'm
because you were
wasting these genes. It's just like, yeah, you got these powerlifter genes.
No matter what your genes are, you can still improve on what you have.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But
especially with like our dad was like, he was like ripped at one point. He's like still like strong. And I remember like being a kid, like looking at my dad's arms and being like, why aren't I like that?
Yeah, why am I tiny?
Yeah, because that was my whole thing for a while. I was like being really skinny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just he played rugby. Well, that was it, really. You just fucking.
He lifted weights as well, though.
Yeah, I don't think he ever
trained.
He didn't do what like I do. He didn't have like
no. But he was playing sports a lot.
Like yeah, sports all the time.
We travelled like across Oz, like semi-professionally as a rugby player. So
yeah. But that's what I mean. Like some people genetically are just going to lean towards a more, like, so if you look at our mum's side of the family, all the men are really like lean, skinny, and
cyclists, like tennis players, like badminton, more like that.
Yeah, table tennis. Yeah. So we've got the mixture of the two. I feel like my physique is kind of short and broad. Whereas you're like taller and broader.
I feel like I've like wasted my potential with that.
It's never too late to start. Look at that guy who's like, don't eat all this fucking sugar. That guy. He's like fucking 60 years old and he is in mad shape.
No, I was saying that to you. It was when we were going through the airport and stuff. I kept like pointing out like there's something about like a dude who's like 50 or 60 and they have this physique.
It was in Swindon.
That's right.
We met in Swindon.
That's right.
Because I'd gone there to buy some shoes.
It wasn't the airport.
And that, like, he must have been
like his face was old.
Late 50s.
Yeah.
Maybe 60s.
His face was old.
Yeah, but he was fucking shredded. He
was. Yeah.
Yeah, and seeing a dude of that age look like that, it's like, god damn. You know?
Did you get steroid vibes? It didn't seem like steroid vibes. I don't know.
No, because he I don't know, that he had like a natural look to him. He was like he was big but not too big. He was the kind of big that if he put on the right clothes you wouldn't even know that he's big.
Yeah. Yeah, but I just thought immediately like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, let me know what you're doing.
There's something scary, but like that willpower to be like, to not be like, fuck it, I'm 60. I'm pigging out now.
Yeah. There's definitely a discipline to that, which I respect a lot.
Yeah.
I got to read this one from Italian Stallion too, because this made me laugh. There is still a significant portion of Americans who think roundabouts are a bad idea. I'm a licensed transportation engineer in the US, specifically road design, and I've seen toddler-level meltdowns at public meetings before any sort of proposed changes to improve designs of current infrastructure. The worst being on a roundabout project in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, South Carolina, what I can only describe as a planned ambush where 20-plus local residents, who were mostly all old and uneducated, showed up at the same time, 5 minutes early, and started throwing insults at the project and at us as people. Thankfully, I was able to get it through without retaliation, which would have just made things worse. The project manager eventually just started laughing at people because of the absurdity. The people eventually got bored and stopped because we weren't reacting the way they wanted us to react. There's a lot of reasons why the roads here are the way they are, which I won't get into too much because it's really complicated and mostly politically and economically driven and doesn't really have anything to do with the actual design and functionality. There's a bit of a movement here to get it somewhat under control and have areas that are synergistic with all forms of transportation. But if it ever gets noticeably better, it will probably be at least 75 plus years. And I think that's being generous. Americans are used to it, I guess. But I'm afraid if I ever visit the Netherlands, for instance, where they have amazing infrastructure for all types of transportation, I may never want to leave. I'm sorry for you Americans on this, man. Like, I'm really, like, I get upset about it here. And like in comparison, it's nothing.
Yeah.
But that's what I think about, man. I think about Denmark. I think about Sweden and Norway and fucking all these places.
Yeah.
where they
I don't know how.
they've sold Americans like such a lie. That
Yeah.
trains are bad and buses are bad. When it's like, bro, go to
Socialism.
London, bro. The transportation in London is incredible.
Oh,
it's
mind blowing.
yeah. If like every city in the UK had that level of transportation, it would just be like, oh, it'd be next level.
Yeah. Yes, it could work countrywide because like,
Yeah.
do we give a shit about trains? Like,
We've like stopped caring about trains, whereas like,
well, yeah,
you look in China, you look in Spain, look in France, built thousands of miles of train tracks, boosts everything. Like there's no question in my mind.
Yeah, I can't understand how we can look at these other places, see what they're doing, and like...
It's like work. It's up and running. It is functional.
Yeah.
It's working.
Yeah, working better than it is at home. So, but because you think it's like a communist hellscape, like in your mind, like everyone has to go to bed at the same time every night and like eat dinner at the same... Like it's a authoritarian dictatorship. Like, is that the reason for not?
Yeah, you were sold a false bill of goods on that one, I'm afraid. Yeah. Yeah, so messed up. When you prioritize, and it's so young as well. That's what's so annoying. Where it's like you had this blank canvas.
Yeah,
you really did have a blank canvas. Yeah. You know, like we're restricted by how old everything is here. Like that gets in the way of infrastructure.
We'd have to knock a lot of stuff down.
Yeah, like Roman buildings, like stuff like listed buildings. You can't do. Yeah, they had the blank canvas, man, and they fucked it. They fucked it.
Yeah,
because when everything is profit motive first, that's what happens. I'm afraid.
Alex IHE anti-capitalist.
HMPO says, howdy partners, glad to hear you guys had a good time in Vegas. Sounds like complete hell. I've got 2 follow-up questions for you. First, is there anywhere else in America you haven't been you'd yet like to visit? And second, is iodized salt really not a thing in the UK? I've never thought about it not being common outside of the US, so that kind of sticks out to me when you guys briefly mentioned it. If you do come back to America one day, you should first drag James here as well, and second, visit the beautiful state of Ohio. I'm sure you'd love it there. Take it easy, partners, and yeehaw, as we say here in the greatest country in the world. There's so much of America I want to see still.
Yeah, I want to see cowboy country. I want to see...
I want to go to Texas. I want to see Austin. I wouldn't mind going, like, we're good, bro. We're like white boys.
Yeah.
British, like, we're fine. We'd be fine in Texas. I want to see that Texas hospitality. I want to try that Texas barbecue. I also want to go to New York. I want to see...
Definitely.
Oh, there's so much in America I want to see. It's just the frontier. Like, just driving through the small little slice I got to see of Seattle from the drive from Vancouver to Seattle. It's like, this is beautiful. This is a scale we just don't have here. It's like so flat, so open. And there's something like awesome about that. It kind of makes you understand the like insular American mindset as far as like, why would you come over to Europe when you can get snow, you can get desert, you can get jungle, basically, you can get woods, you get anything you want, beaches, because it's such a big landmass. I think one day like a road trip needs to be done.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that for a long time.
So parents did that in the 80s.
Yeah.
They hit a bunch of the landmarks, a bunch of the cities you want to go. Yeah, I'd love to do that. I don't know if there's like any state I'd even be against seeing. I'd just prioritize some over others.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I'm not... I feel like the only state I don't really want to go to is Florida.
I would go.
You would?
I would. Because I think I'm actually planning with Adam a Disneyland.
Really? Oh, okay.
Or is that in LA actually? I can't remember where it
is. There's Disney World.
Whichever
there's a Disney
one is considered better.
I
think it's in Florida. I'd check out Florida.
Yeah.
For me, it's LA. For me, it's LA.
Yeah. I mean, I count when we went as children to LA on the way
But
back.
I didn't know
from New
anything about like
Zealand.
LA culture or anything.
Yeah,
whereas
it was better that way.
I'd maybe spend a day there to gawk, but I'd want to be out. You know.
Yeah, I don't know what you do in LA apart from like network. Like that seems to be the
Network, go to the beach, run away from homeless people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't say I'm particularly interested in LA. It's more east and central for me that I want to check out now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think New York, Austin, two of the big ones at the top for me, unless I'm not thinking of anything obvious.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just such a big landmass. It's like, where do you even target?
It's hard to like with my mindset of being English and not even traveling that much within the UK.
Yeah, like I've never been to Scotland, let alone...
Yeah, conceptualizing the quantity of space isn't easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's do a couple more here before we wrap up. Oh yeah, I needed to do this one from Conscious Date 3533. Hey boys, long time listener here. This is a long one, so I apologize in advance. I started listening around episode 50 in early high school and have been a weekly listener since. I'm now in the final few weeks of my surgical rotation for medical school, so maybe sometime soon there will be a surgeon jowling. Or maybe there already is. I'm convinced that in 2020 I was the number one listener to the normal episode. I'm talking dozens and dozens of times, if not triple digits. This was a result of a consistent ritual I committed to, which I called the normal reset. During periods of sadness, anger, or stress, I'd simply listen through the normal episode and allow my mind to relax. By the time James would start talking about his ugly boots, I'd be entirely calm. It got to the point where I'd begin mouthing along the words. The script was nearly memorized. Needless to say, I've since matured. Nowadays, it's been replaced by the most recent Booger Gold episode, which I believe will go down in history as a classic on par with the normal episode. I realize that I tend to do this a lot with different things. I attach myself to certain pieces of media periodically to an excessive degree and adopt them into my routine as ritualistic, familiar de-stressors. At times, this has been movies like Pride and Prejudice or How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, or albums like Neutral Milk's Hotel, In the Aeroplane, Over the Sea, and Phoebe Bridges' Punisher, which I'd wish or listen to dozens of times, sometimes on repeat. My question is, do you boys have any pieces of media that you've attached yourselves to a potentially unhealthy degree, either in the past or present? I apologize for the extensive question. Bear. There are a few things. I would consider Red Dead in that category. Probably the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The OG Star Wars trilogy. Those are some of the big ones for me. The OG Halo trilogy. Probably the Mass Effect 1 and 2. These are some of my bedrocks. Special interests, you could say.
For me,
Paisley.
Nice one, Pez. Arkham games, Batman.
Oh yeah. Oh, Brett, do you know what Market Divine coffee shop has just bought Batman related?
No.
He told me today.
What's he bought?
He's bought a vintage Adam West Batman poster, like legit. He's put like real money down on this. And it's gonna be in the coffee shop.
Is it?
Next week.
Oh shit, that's so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Dark Souls?
Yeah.
I mean Star Wars as well. I won't repeat too many of yours.
I mean, that's a good list right there.
Yeah. I feel like music as well. Falling back onto like certain albums for certain times.
Yeah, albums is a good one. I'd say like Discovery, Daft Punk, Demon Days.
Demon Days for me, 100%.
That's a big like formative obsession for me, probably. I'd even say weird, like maybe a deep pull. That Joe Strummer album. With the orange cover. I can't remember what it's called. That album.
Yeah.
That's like one of those bedrock ones. The Beatles #1, the Queen like 4-disc best of thing.
Yeah.
That was like another formative thing.
Yeah.
I even say like, I don't know, maybe not now, but like some of the like Nintendo shit from like that era, late GameCube, Wii type era. There's a bunch of stuff there, like your Mario Galaxies, the virtual shop on Wii. Some of the stuff that was on there, we just rinsed.
I mean, Mario Bros. 3.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Which we attempted to actually finish.
A legendary game. Yeah. It's probably my favorite.
We got so far. Yeah. It's no question for me. It's.
And there's like such a ritual to it. You get your whistle, you choose not to get the whistle to make it harder.
You make these tactical decisions.
Yeah. And the co-op, like swap in or whatever. Yeah. I think we had a fair few there.
Yeah, it's the kind of question I'd have to like prep for.
I would say the book Animal Farm as well.
Really?
Yeah, because I read it fairly young, and something about it like really rung true, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. I suppose I got to mention this from Bob Candler. As Wiltshire lads, I was wondering if any of you have heard of the man who believes he is a reincarnation of King Arthur. He is also a druid, and has stood as an independent candidate for Salisbury in the last several elections. He has had several legal battles against English heritage regarding Stonehenge. If any of this is amusing to you, you have got to check out his Wikipedia page, Arthur Uther Pendragon. There's a lot more silliness that I haven't mentioned. He has been the source of many jokes between me and my Salisbury friends over the years. Game on. I'd never heard of this fella, but
he's back.
Do you want to wrap this up by me going through some of this wiki? If it will actually open.
This.
So Arthur Uther Pendragon is a British eco-campaigner, neo-druid leader, media personality, and self-declared reincarnation of King Arthur. A name by which he's also known. Pendragon was the battle chieftain of the Council of British Druid Orders. Born to a working-class family, Pendragon served in the British Army's Royal Hampshire Regiment before being discharged following an injury. Identifying as a greaser, he formed a biker club known as the Gravediggers. Moving in counterculture circles at free festivals around Britain. After reading a book on King Arthur by the occultist Gareth Knight, he leapt to the conclusion that he was the reincarnation of the mythical king and changed his name by deed poll. He formed the Loyal Arthurian War Band out of his supporters and began describing himself as a druid. Angered that English heritage charged entry to visit Stonehenge, using the money for restoration and preservation of the archaeological site in Wiltshire. Between 1990 and 1991, he picketed outside the site on a daily basis. I love this is bringing the Stonehenge thing full circle. Well. Later that decade, he joined various eco-protests against road development across Britain and, with the Council of British Druid Orders, campaigned for open access to Stonehenge during the solstice. For several years, Pendragon engaged in direct action protest and was repeatedly arrested. English Heritage agreed to implement open access to the solstice in 2000. Pendragon later focused on campaigning for the return of human remains removed from Stonehenge by archaeologists in 2008. He continued to call for free access to the site. Whew.
He sounds like I'd vote for him.
That's hilarious. I guess I'll just read this. Pendragon is best known for his legal battles with English heritage regarding the monument of Stonehenge, a site of great religious significance to neo-Druids. Throughout the 1990s, he campaigned for the removal of the 4-mile exclusion zone, which was established each year during the summer solstice. On 19th of October 1998, with assistance from organisations such as Liberty, who acted as his counsel, Pendragon had his case heard by the European Court of Human Rights. He claimed that the exclusion zone around Stonehenge was restricting his freedom of thought, conscience, religion and freedom of expression, in contravention of Articles 9, 10 and 11 of the European Convention of Human Rights. The court decided in favour of the UK government. However, the exclusion zone was lifted the following year, after an unrelenting case before the House of Lords ruled that the public have a right to assembly on a public highway. And there's like more. There's like 3 more paragraphs of this. This guy
He's been campaigning.
he's been
busy.
He's an icon of the area.
Yeah, I got that.
Because like the solstice, like for those who don't know, is like a big deal around here. We mentioned Avebury.
Yeah, Avebury is the summer solstice.
All the hippies show up.
Huge.
I don't know if I think I might have mentioned it on the jar. I went to Avebury during one of the solstices, and there was like this big gathering of people who were like, "We pray to the gods of the north." And then they all prayed, and then they like turn east, and they're like, "We pray to the gods of the east," and they're like doing all this shit, and they were like, it's like crazy. But people come from like all around the country, from other countries, just for the solstice to come and like do their little hippie gathering thing.
Yeah,
it's pretty fun to see it.
Yeah, it's cool for such like a non-religion religion. To have this kind of thing, because like to be a hippie, I feel like you can't be too like heavy-handed.
No, but like that, you'll never see more tie-dye than at these things.
Oh god, yeah.
I've never seen more tie-dye.
Yeah. And you won't smell more weed in the air.
Yeah, it's pretty low.
Yeah, I love it though.
Yeah, that's a nice little bit of local.
Do you feel spiritual around the stones?
No, but I was talking to someone recently about this where like, I don't know, our granddad's like a Oxford scientist. He's instilled this like kind of militaristic atheism in our family, I feel like. But I've always felt this disconnect as far as like, there's a space for the spirituality. It doesn't manifest in like religion, but like when I'm in pure nature and I'm around like trees and stuff, I feel like I do feel some kind of spiritual link to the environment. But I don't know how to like express it beyond just like this abstract just feeling.
Yeah. I mean, I like it. I feel like such a fucking asshole when it comes to spirituality, because I don't understand what it means, you know, to be like in touch with your soul and like. Yeah,
for a lot of people, I think it is just like a feeling or something you intuit.
Yeah, but that feeling, I don't know if it's something like if I'd have never heard the term, or if spiritual people had never been exposed to spirituality and they were in this environment, would they feel that thing? Or is it something where we think we're supposed to feel that? So we
like
feel
a
something.
Nature nurture, like cultural.
I think there's like definitely comfort, and it's proven that our brains like trees and nature, and like we love absorbing that stuff.
You get something from it.
If it's just an expression of that, then I kind of get it. But like the feeling itself, I can't empathize with.
Yeah, I have this really cringy memory of it's like the end of a Simpsons episode. It's a really funny gag where they have a Native American like see like a plastic bag on the ground, and then like a tear like goes down. I remember watching that as a kid and being like, "I'm with you, man." Like, hell yeah. Like it really bugs me like when I see garbage and stuff. Remember that scene in Mad Men where like they have a picnic And when they leave, they just like grab the sheet and just walk off with all the like paper plate or plastic plates and cutlery and whatnot. There's something wrong about that. There's something. It's not right.
Yeah. But you know, it's a lot easier. So.
Oh, certainly easier to ignore. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels less bad.
Yeah.
If you just put the blinders up.
Join the conservatives, you know? Then you don't have to worry about it.
If there's one message to take away from this episode, it's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have no reason to not destroy your environment. God put us here, man. And he said, go...
Which God?
Go crazy. All of them. I don't care. The spirit.
The god of the Druids.
Yeah. The god of the north, east, south, and west.
Yeah. I'll take the god of the east. You can have west.
Okay. Let's battle.
Well, I'm going to team up with god of north, though. You can team up with god of south.
I'll take the south. I feel like there's, like, from here, there's way more down than up.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
you just get, like, icy tundra.
Yeah. It's like ice versus fire type.
Fire. What is he called? Fire.
Flamer
And Icer.
How can you forget Flamer?
Flamer. Oh, man. We'll see you next time.
Ciao.
All right.
Have you seen those dents that streamers get in their heads?
Oh, the
like headphone dent.
Yeah, the headphone dent. I have seen that. Have you seen that mock-up of like what people would look like by like 2060 or whatever? It's like these goblin people with like dents in their heads and like big notches in their fingers and stuff. Well, everybody, this is the part of the show we head over to the Jar Media Patreon, Dibby tier or above, read off those crazy names. There's no James, so we have a few more to do individually than usual, so I'm not going to dilly, I'm just going to dally right into this. So big thanks to the Jar patrons of April 2024. Big shout out to My, someone fetch a priest. You can't say no to James's dad, the beast, Jarling. I am in no say weighing. Jesus. Callister Calloway. Magic Conch Shell. You mean like this? Oh, lol. Kaya. Shannon Elizabeth Patil. Effie is online. Danny Wren. Lowry Morton. James Rousel. Autumn. Fleeting Hope. We're all bisexual here. Meme from home. At Globonaut. Intercontinental Ballistic Poo-Fart Explosion. Fallout 4 is a better game than New Vegas. Driving in the same that they killed Brian in. Narborough the Human Cigarette. Retzov. Kid Cannabis. Thea Thorogood. Or is that Tia Thorogood? C-Word Dooku. Pitts View. Dom. Frisco. Fuck it. I ate the op. Foul Git. Sam Barlow. Thai Boy Goon and Fresh as Fuck. Bands by the Box. Yeah, I love them Bezos. Jeff Bezos. The Wrecking Ball Scene from Free Guy. Erectin Aria Spencer here. Murdo Wallace. Pear Bomb Baby. Yoda Baby Group Baby. James's dad. Ignos Scramus. Punished James's dad. A man denied his Weatherspoons. Quetzalcoatlus Northropy. Thank the Lizard Lords. Only Singaporean Jarling. James's dada. Paul Atreides. Nicholas Latifi's estranged son. Bog the Best. What made him this way? What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated? This is the story of Chris Chan. The Camino Gimp. My name Jeff. How to change patron username. Big Wumbo. James's crippling 2B gooning addiction. Barnaby's Panopticon. Somewhere there's a parallel universe where all the Jar members are worms, and Worm Alex has a tiny man living in his arm. Lildred Incorporated. Saishin. Finn Arthurs. Vivian Reed. I work in an investment firm funding Patreon accounts. What is a Jar Easter egg you'd like in the next patron segment? Chocolate Fart. Scribbleware. Bonky. Splink. Skek. Magma Slug. Levy. Pip Pop Pippet on the premium Vipet. Dr. Deluxo Shan Bayou. Sorry, Shabangu. Oliver Holm Jambai. Dexter McCall. Gunshi Guna. I love Barbor Bell, she's my queen. LeBron James excited for White Boy Wednesday. Henlo Friend Sucky Sucky Dum Dum. Neo Theo, Dobby, the House Milf, and last but not least, Zell. Here you go, bro. Nice.
Enormities of thankies to Simon Steele. Around the Gina Adobe Create. All pretty cool. Jokey. Shake It Off, James's version, is the greatest song known to mankind. Venomized Rico Dave Bryan. Krill Muncher. Unwashed Reptile. Manny Sanchez. Lagoon 22. Simsy. 0.6% Japanese Jarling. Lawmaster of Fanboy and Chum Chum. Fappin' and clappin', it's happening, lappin' up sap that have splat on the mat and the substance is masculine. Travis King, Captain Clungehole, Storme supports Nagoya Grampus. The Trail We Banana, Grant Connor, Jack Price, Venomized Slimy Bill, Humans Born Dookie Fresh, Muad'Dib Jarling, Avikant.
Muad'Dib.
What's Muad'Dib?
That's a Dune reference.
Oh, okay. State of Velasca, Venomized Kino Loy, Callum J. Quick, Ganja Satellite. Please redirect my $5 into the Sting Part 4 crowdfunding project. We the patrons could really make this happen. Tonio Swelt, Testing, Wham Bam Pow, Gooby Love, Can You Hear Me Now? Slurms Mackenzie, the original party worm, Wimmy Wham Wham Wazzle. Salad 513. Oh, I'm a gooning bear. Yeah, I'm a gooning bear. Oh, I'm a yummy tummy cummy stinking gooning bear. Slam Dunk Cosmos. Harriet Broadley. Miniature Rani. Tom Berenac. Gilbert the Awesome One. James Isdad. This is a public service announcement. I have rebranded from Nate's Minifigs and now I am called Input Brick. Please edit the past cut. The Swedish embassy called, they're looking for the throat goat, so I sent them after James's dad. Let me use that prolapsed asshole as a fleshlight. Zim Zam Zobble, my Ziblies. Cobalt Rad. Sarpuka, the Emperor's BMs, those who flush against shall fall. James's dad is the Emperor. Juicy Delicious. Piss Drinkers Unleashed. Thomas Martin. Before I hand this iPad off to you, you should know that I let Pissadick use it and now it's full of piss. Robert Kep Flexington, Biscuit, Dreamoffle2142. Can one of you guys please ask James to stop DMing me? No, I don't want to see your gear stick. Pack it in. Irish Wristwatch, Penn Island XDD, Danny G. James's Lord, Edgy Air Wrecker, Milky Piggy Silky Creamy Donkey Steam. Titty's abilities riddle me. Middle C. Give it MC a rectal hysterectomy. Lecture on removal of the bowels. Foul technically.
Right.
The Only Goth Girl Jarling. Creamer. Adam Johnston. Tom Bowie. Bring back Randy to the cast. We miss him. Josh Ugg Bug Pugbarug Walker. Super Crunchers, Joel Stewart, Big Whoops, Gremblo, JBG, Cooter Panda, Lucy Tyres and Asian Anal Queen, The Pooh Man, taking the lug nuts off the laurel as you read this. Cassia fucking Manigan, and of course, least but not last, David Wallace. Thank you all dearly.
Thank you, everybody.
Blam!
Women wearing Marshall.
That was a mouthful.
Oh, hot diggity damn.
Yeah.